Welcome to the real game changer, the stock market, where every tick of the clock can mean a windfall or a wipeout. Here, fortunes are made and lost in the blink of an eye, and the stakes are higher than ever. It's a world where fortunes shift in seconds and every headline can send shockwaves through the trading floor. This week, Asia's markets are on edge, with investors glued to their screens, waiting for the next big move. From Tokyo to Mumbai, from the bustling trading rooms of Hong Kong to the financial hubs of Singapore, investors are holding their breath, waiting for a single speech that could set the tone for the entire global economy. The suspense is real. Everyone's watching Jerome Powell, the U.S. Federal Reserve Chief, whose words can send markets soaring or tumbling in an instant. When Powell speaks, markets move. His statements are dissected by analysts, traders, and investors around the world, all searching for clues about the future. His words can launch massive rallies or trigger sudden sell-offs, changing the mood of the market in a heartbeat. Right now, Asian markets are stuck in limbo. No one wants to make a big move before hearing from Powell. The tension is almost tangible, as if the entire region is holding its breath. It's like everyone's standing at the pool's edge, waiting for someone else to jump first. The uncertainty is palpable and hesitation rules the day. Why does Powell matter so much? Because what he says about the U.S. economy ripples across the globe, affecting everything from interest rates to currency values, and even the price of your morning coffee. This week, Japan's market is shaky, China's is hopeful, and every country in between is bracing for impact. The rest of Asia is watching closely, analyzing every signal, every whisper, and every rumor that could hint at what's coming next. We'll break down why this speech is so important, what's at stake for investors, and what it means for your money, whether you're a seasoned trader or just starting out. We'll visit Japan's cautious market, China's government-fueled optimism, and other key players across the region, each with their own hopes and fears. By the end, you'll see why the world is glued to Powell's every word, and how a single speech can change the course of markets everywhere. This isn't just Wall Street drama, it's about your future too. The decisions made here can affect your savings, your investments, and even your job. So, buckle up. Let's dive in and explore the high-stakes world of Asian markets on the brink of a major shift. The stakes are high and the next move could change everything. Every decision, every reaction could mean the difference between profit and loss. Ready to see how fortunes are made? Let's go behind the scenes and witness the drama unfold. The world is waiting. Are you ready to seize the moment? Let's break it down, market by market. Stay sharp. Opportunity is knocking. Let's make some money and see what the future holds. Let's meet the man everyone's watching, Jerome Powell. He may not be a household name like a movie star or a tech billionaire, but in the world of finance, he's a giant. His decisions ripple through every corner of the global economy, affecting everything from the price of your morning coffee to the value of your country's currency. As chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve, Powell holds a position of immense influence. He's not just the most powerful banker in America, he's arguably the most influential financial figure in the world. When he speaks, markets listen. The Federal Reserve, often called the Fed, is the central bank for all U.S. banks. It sets the rules of the financial game, and Powell is the referee. His decisions on interest rates and monetary policy steer the world's largest economy, shaping the financial landscape for billions. Why should Asia care? Because when the U.S. economy shifts, the whole world feels the waves. Asian markets, in particular, are closely tied to the U.S. through trade, investment, and currency flows. A single decision from Powell can send shockwaves from Tokyo to Mumbai. The U.S. dollar is the world's main currency. Oil, gold, and global trade all depend on it. When Powell makes a move, it can change the cost of borrowing, the price of goods, and the flow of money across continents. Powell's choices can make the dollar stronger or weaker, impacting everyone from multinational corporations to everyday families. Exchange rates, inflation, and even job markets can shift based on his words. Every year, top bankers and economists gather in Jackson Hole, Wyoming to hear Powell's speech. It's not just a conference, it's a global event with financial leaders hanging on every word. Investors from Tokyo to Singapore, from Hong Kong to Sydney, are glued to their screens, searching for clues about the future. They analyze his tone, his body language, and even the smallest hints in his statements. His tone, his pauses, even a single phrase can move trillions of dollars. Newsrooms and trading floors light up the moment he begins to speak, as analysts scramble to interpret his message. If he signals confidence, markets rally. Investors feel reassured, and stock prices can soar within minutes. If he warns of trouble, stocks tumble. Billions can be lost in the blink of an eye, and uncertainty spreads across the globe. Powell's speech is the global economy's weather forecast. Just as a storm warning can change travel plans, his words can alter the course of markets and economies. That's why investors everywhere are glued to their screens, waiting for any sign of what's next. The anticipation is electric. His words set the tone for markets worldwide. One speech, global impact. From New York to London, from Shanghai to Dubai, everyone is tuned in. That's the power of Jerome Powell. With a few sentences, he can calm fears or spark a frenzy. This is why the world waits. The stakes are high and the outcome is uncertain. The stakes? Billions, sometimes trillions on the line. Every word, every gesture can mean gains or losses for countries, companies, and individuals. Powell's next move could change everything. The world holds its breath, waiting for his signal. So, what will he say? The world is listening, and the future of the global economy may depend on his next words. What's Powell's main tool for steering the U.S. economy through uncertain times? It's interest rates, the cost you pay to borrow money, whether you're buying a home, starting a business, or just using your credit card. When the Fed raises rates, borrowing gets more expensive. People and businesses pull back on spending, and the economy slows down. That's how inflation, the rise in prices, can be brought under control. On the flip side, when rates are low, loans are cheaper. People buy more, companies invest, and jobs are created. It's a powerful lever for growth. The Fed's decisions on rates ripple through every corner of the economy, affecting your mortgage payments, your credit card bills, and even the ability of companies to expand and hire. Lately, the Fed's been tapping the brakes, raising rates to cool off inflation that's been running hot after the pandemic. If rates stay high for too long, growth can stall. Businesses might stop hiring and consumers could cut back even more. But if the Fed lowers rates too soon, the economy could overheat again, risking another surge in inflation. Investors everywhere are on edge. They're watching Powell's every word, trying to guess if he'll ease up or keep the brakes on. His next speech could send shockwaves through global markets, shifting fortunes in an instant. Around the world, markets are holding their breath, waiting for Powell's signal. Will it be a green light or a warning? Will he hint at lower rates to boost growth, or warn that inflation is still lurking, ready to rise again? Just a single phrase from Powell can move billions of dollars and change the course of economies. That's why the world is glued to his every announcement. Interest rates aren't just abstract numbers. They shape the way we live, work, and plan for the future. The Fed's next move could mean economic boom or painful bust for millions. Powell's decision is the world's cue. The suspense is real. Stay tuned to see what happens next. Let's fly to Japan, where the stock market is treading water. The Nikkei is barely moving. Investors are cautious, waiting for Powell. But Japan has its own problem: inflation. After years of falling prices, costs are finally rising, maybe too much. Inflation is above the Bank of Japan's 2% target, and it's not coming down fast. This puts the central bank in a tough spot. For years, Japan kept interest rates ultra low to fight deflation. Now, with prices rising, there's pressure to raise rates. Investors worry the era of cheap money is ending. If rates go up, borrowing gets harder, and stocks could suffer. The market is on edge, waiting for the next move. Persistent inflation means uncertainty for everyone. The Bank of Japan faces a tough choice. Will they act or wait? The answer could shake markets. Japan's central bank faces a dilemma. For decades, they fought falling prices with rock-bottom rates and massive stimulus. Now, inflation is finally here, but it's running hot. Raising rates could cool inflation, but risk shocking an economy built on cheap money. Companies loaded with debt would face higher costs, hurting profits and growth. Higher rates also make stocks less attractive compared to safer bonds. Investors are nervous, watching for any sign of a policy shift. Many expect the Bank of Japan to raise rates at least once by 2025. That's making some investors cash out after record highs. The party of easy money may be ending. The BOJ must balance fighting inflation with keeping the economy stable. It's a high-wire act with no easy answers. Every move is under the microscope. The stakes, the future of Japan's market. The world is watching. Now, let's turn to China, where optimism is surging. Chinese stocks are climbing, hitting multi-month highs. Why? Investors expect the government to step in with new stimulus. After a slow recovery and a weak property market, hopes are high for more support. Government action is like rocket fuel for Chinese stocks, but not all is rosy. Hong Kong's Hang Seng index struggled, dragged down by tech stocks. Investors are still cautious, waiting for real action, not just promises. In China, government policy can turn markets around overnight. The mood is hopeful, but the proof will be in the follow-through. Will stimulus arrive? That's the big question. For now, optimism is driving the rally, but everyone's watching for results. Let's take a quick tour of Asia-Pacific's other key markets. Australia's ASX 200 hit a record high, showing resilience despite global jitters. South Korea's Kospi struggled, dragged down by tech stock sell-offs. India's Nifty 50 had a strong week, fueled by economic growth and reform hopes. Singapore's Straits Times Index edged up, reflecting cautious optimism. Each market tells a different story, but all are waiting for Powell's signal. Investors everywhere are in a holding pattern. The next move depends on the Fed. One speech could shift the entire region. The world is on pause. Company earnings can move markets as much as central banks. Investors are watching giants like Alibaba for clues about China's economy. Alibaba's results reveal how confident Chinese consumers are, and the health of e-commerce. Strong sales mean optimism. Weak numbers could spell trouble. Investors also want updates on Alibaba's push into artificial intelligence. Alongside US tech earnings, these reports will set the tone for the sector. Company report cards add another layer to the market puzzle. The stakes are high for tech, and for the whole market. After a tense week, Asia's markets are at a crossroads. Japan is nervous, China is hopeful, and the rest of the region is waiting. Everything hinges on Jerome Powell's speech. If he hints at lower rates, expect a global rally. If he stays tough on inflation, markets could tumble. It's a tug-of-war between fear and optimism. A speech in Wyoming can shake Tokyo, and a government promise in Beijing can move Shanghai. Company earnings add more twists to the story. For now, all eyes are on Powell. The next move could change everything. The game is on and the world is watching. Stay alert. Opportunity and risk are both in play. Don't blink.